Have you ever wondered if any relationship on Little People, Big World has changed more dramatically than the one between Amy Roloff and Caryn Chandler? Over the years, viewers have watched what seemed like a simple working relationship slowly transform into one of the most talked-about dynamics in the entire series. What started as subtle moments of awkwardness eventually became a source of endless discussion, with fans constantly asking the same question. Was the tension just an uncomfortable situation, or was the relationship permanently damaged? As the years passed, every interaction between Amy and Caryn was analyzed by viewers. Small conversations, quiet glances, and even who attended family gatherings became topics of debate online. Some fans believed the distance between them was understandable given the circumstances, while others wondered whether there was ever a chance for genuine peace between the two women. Regardless of where people stood, one thing became clear. Their relationship became one of the defining storylines surrounding the Roloff family after the show's early years. In today's video, we're taking a complete look at how that relationship evolved from beginning to end. We'll start with Caryn's early years working at Roloff Farms, long before she became publicly involved with Matt Roloff. Then we'll follow the timeline through Matt and Amy's divorce, the emotional farm negotiations, changing family dynamics, holidays, major milestones, and the moments that shaped public opinion along the way. We'll also examine how Amy's marriage to Marek introduced a new chapter, while Caryn's relationship with Matt continued to develop. Throughout this video, we'll focus on what viewers actually saw unfold on Little People, Big World, while also pointing out where fan theories and online speculation begin. Over the years, social media, discussion forums, and fan communities have created countless interpretations of Amy and Caryn's relationship, but not every rumor has been supported by facts. We'll separate documented events from opinions, giving you the complete timeline so you can decide for yourself how this complicated relationship truly evolved. So let's go back to the very beginning, before the headlines, before the divorce, and before Amy and Caryn became one of the most discussed relationships in Little People, Big World history. Long before her relationship with Matt Roloff became one of the biggest storylines on Little People, Big World, Caryn Chandler was simply known as one of the key people who helped keep Roloff Farms running. She worked behind the scenes for many years as the farm's manager, overseeing the enormous pumpkin season that attracted thousands of visitors every fall. Organizing employees, managing schedules, coordinating tour, and making sure daily operations ran smoothly was no small task, and Caryn earned a reputation as someone Matt relied on heavily. Because Roloff Farms had grown into a major attraction, the workload during pumpkin season was intense. Every year, families traveled from across the region to visit the farm, ride the famous wagon tour, and experience the festivities. Cameras often focused on the Roloff family, but much of the actual organization happened behind the scenes. Caryn played a significant role in making sure everything operated efficiently, even if viewers only caught brief glimpses of her on screen. At that time, Amy Roloff and Caryn appeared to have a professional working relationship. They interacted as coworkers who shared responsibility for making the busy season successful. While Amy handled many aspects of welcoming visitors and supporting family activities, Caryn focused on logistics and operations. Their conversations during early episodes generally appeared polite and businesslike, with little indication of serious disagreements. In fact, many longtime viewers barely noticed Caryn during those early seasons. She wasn't portrayed as a central cast member, but rather as part of the larger farm staff that helped bring Matt and Amy's vision to life. Fans often viewed her as another trusted employee who had become an important member of the Roloff Farms team through years of dedication and hard work. Matt Roloff frequently praised Caryn's organizational skills and ability to handle the enormous pressure that came with pumpkin season. As the farm continued expanding, having someone capable of managing day-to-day operations allowed Matt to focus on larger projects and long-term planning. Their close working relationship seemed, at least publicly, to be centered on business and the success of the farm. Because there was little obvious tension shown on camera, few viewers questioned how closely Matt and Caryn worked together. The series largely presented their interactions as those of an employer and a trusted employee. Amy also appeared focused on raising her children, balancing family life, and participating in the many responsibilities that came with living on such a busy property. Everything changed, however, after Matt and Amy's marriage ended, and Matt eventually began dating Caryn. Suddenly, fans started revisiting older episodes with an entirely different perspective. Moments that had once seemed completely ordinary were now examined frame by frame. Viewers noticed how often Matt and Caryn were working together, how comfortable they appeared around one another, and how frequently they shared responsibilities behind the scenes. It's important to note that these retrospective interpretations largely came from fans looking back after later events unfolded. Early episodes themselves did not openly suggest a romantic relationship, and much of the speculation developed years later as audiences reconsidered the timeline. The benefit of hindsight caused many longtime viewers to interpret those earlier interactions differently than they had during the original broadcasts. Whether those early moments were simply examples of a strong professional partnership or something viewers later read more deeply into, one thing is certain. Caryn's role on Roloff Farms laid the foundation for a relationship that would eventually reshape not only her own life, but also the dynamic of the entire Roloff family. As the story continued, what had once seemed like an ordinary workplace relationship became one of the most discussed and debated aspects of Little People, Big World. By the time Matt and Amy Roloff officially ended their marriage, the atmosphere on Roloff Farms had changed dramatically. Their divorce marked the end of one of the longest-running relationships viewers had followed on Little People, Big World. For years, fans had watched them work together, raise their children, and build the farm into a successful family destination. Even though their marriage had faced challenges for a long time, seeing them officially separate was still emotional for many longtime viewers. The divorce represented far more than the end of a marriage. It reshaped the entire future of the Roloff family. As both Matt and Amy began moving forward with separate lives, the dynamic on the farm became much more complicated. The property remained central to family events and the television series, meaning they still had to work together despite no longer being married. Business meetings, pumpkin season, family celebrations, and major decisions often required them to communicate, even while navigating difficult emotions. Viewers could clearly see that creating healthy boundaries wasn't always easy, and every interaction seemed to carry years of shared history. Eventually, Matt and Caryn Chandler made their relationship public, creating another major turning point in the story. Since Caryn had worked on Roloff Farms for many years before their relationship became public, the announcement immediately drew attention from fans. Many people looked back at earlier seasons with a new perspective, wondering whether there had been signs they had overlooked. Although there has been plenty of speculation over the years, viewers often revisited old episodes and interpreted familiar moments differently after learning about Matt and Caryn's relationship. Amy was open about how difficult the transition was for her. In interviews and throughout the series, she acknowledged that accepting the new reality wasn't something that happened overnight. She spoke honestly about the emotional challenges of watching her former husband move into a new relationship while they were still connected through the farm and their family. Rather than pretending everything was fine, Amy allowed viewers to see the complicated emotions that often accompany divorce, making her experiences feel genuine and relatable to many people watching at home. Continuing to share Roloff Farms made healing even more difficult. Unlike many divorced couples who are able to establish physical distance, Matt and Amy frequently found themselves working on the same property and making decisions that affected both the family and the business. Every holiday, pumpkin season, or family gathering brought new situations that required cooperation. The farm, once a symbol of their shared accomplishments, gradually became a reminder of how complicated their new relationship had become. The Roloff children also had to adjust to a completely different family structure. As adults, they supported both parents while trying to maintain relationships with everyone involved. Family events naturally required careful planning, and each member had to find a new sense of normal. While they rarely revealed every private conversation, viewers could see that everyone was adapting in their own way as the family entered a new chapter. Many longtime viewers found themselves sympathizing with Amy throughout this period. Having watched her invest decades into both her marriage and the farm, fans understood why moving forward was emotionally difficult. Her willingness to discuss disappointment, uncertainty, and eventually personal growth resonated with audiences who had experienced similar life changes. Rather than presenting herself as having all the answers, Amy often shared the realities of rebuilding life after divorce. At the same time, not every fan viewed the situation the same way. Some believed Matt had every right to move forward and pursue happiness after the marriage ended. Others felt the timing of new relationships naturally created uncomfortable emotions, regardless of whether anyone had done anything wrong. Online discussions became divided, with supporters on both sides offering different interpretations of the same events. Because much of the family's private life remained off-camera, viewers often reached different conclusions based on what they believed had happened behind the scenes. Perhaps the biggest lesson from this chapter was how difficult it can be to separate personal relationships from a family business. Roloff Farms wasn't simply a workplace. It represented decades of memories, financial investments, and family traditions. Every business decision also carried emotional weight, making it nearly impossible to keep personal feelings completely separate. The combination of family, business, and reality television created challenges few people ever experience, helping explain why this period remains one of the most discussed chapters in Little People, Big World history. As the years went on, Amy Roloff and Caryn Chandler found themselves in an increasingly complicated situation. Even after Matt and Amy finalized their divorce, they still shared deep family connections through their children, grandchildren, and Roloff Farms. That meant birthdays, holiday celebrations, pumpkin season, and family milestones often brought everyone together. While these occasions were meant to celebrate family, viewers frequently noticed an unmistakable sense of discomfort whenever Amy and Caryn happened to be in the same place. Holiday gatherings became some of the most closely watched moments on Little People, Big World. Fans often observed that Amy and Caryn rarely spent much time speaking directly to one another. Instead, they usually focused on different family members or stayed on opposite sides of the gathering. There were very few confrontations on camera, but many viewers felt that the silence itself revealed how complicated the relationship had become. Even brief greetings or polite conversations appeared tense, leading audiences to analyze every expression, pause, and body language cue. The annual pumpkin season made everything even more challenging. Roloff Farms remained a major attraction, bringing thousands of visitors each year. Amy continued participating in many farm activities, while Caryn maintained an important role in helping Matt manage operations for several seasons. Their shared connection to the farm meant there were times when both women had responsibilities tied to the same events. Although everyone worked to keep the business running smoothly, viewers often sensed an underlying awkwardness whenever their paths crossed. Many longtime fans pointed out that both Amy and Caryn appeared determined to remain professional during busy farm events. Rather than creating dramatic arguments, they generally focused on their own responsibilities and avoided unnecessary interaction. This approach likely helped keep the farm functioning during its busiest time of year, but it also highlighted how distant their relationship had become. Even without heated exchanges, the emotional distance was noticeable to many viewers. Another major turning point came when discussions about the future of Roloff Farms became increasingly serious. Matt began considering long-term plans for the property, including whether one of the children might eventually purchase part of the farm. These conversations carried emotional weight because the farm represented decades of memories, hard work, and family history. Amy had already made the difficult decision to sell her remaining interest in the property, but questions about ownership continued to affect everyone involved. As those discussions unfolded, Zach Roloff and his wife, Tori, became more involved in conversations about the farm's future. Many fans hoped Zach would eventually take over part of the property and continue the family legacy. The negotiations, however, proved far more complicated than many expected. Different expectations regarding pricing, business decisions, and long-term goals created disappointment on multiple sides. Although these issues were primarily between Matt and Zach, viewers often wondered how Caryn's close relationship with Matt influenced the overall family dynamic. Because Caryn was Matt's longtime partner, many fans assumed she naturally became part of conversations surrounding future plans for the farm. While the exact details of private family discussions remained largely unknown, her presence alongside Matt during this period led to significant online speculation. Some viewers believed she supported Matt's business decisions, while others felt her involvement added another layer of tension to already emotional negotiations. Without access to every private conversation, audiences could only interpret what appeared on television and through occasional public interviews. At the same time, Amy's personal life entered an exciting new chapter with the arrival of Marek. Their relationship introduced a fresh source of happiness after years of emotional change. Chris quickly earned a reputation for his calm personality and willingness to avoid unnecessary conflict. Rather than becoming involved in old disagreements, he generally encouraged peace and focused on building a positive future with Amy. Many viewers appreciated the way Chris handled uncomfortable situations. Whether attending family gatherings or farm events, he often appeared respectful toward everyone involved. His steady presence seemed to help Amy navigate occasions that might otherwise have been emotionally exhausting. Fans frequently commented that Chris brought a sense of balance during a period when many family relationships remained uncertain. Throughout these seasons, Little People, Big World continued presenting emotional conversations alongside carefully edited scenes designed to tell a compelling story. Reality television naturally condenses many hours of filming into episodes lasting less than an hour. As a result, quiet moments, awkward pauses, or uncomfortable glances sometimes received greater emphasis because they fit the overall narrative being presented. That does not necessarily mean those moments were manufactured, but editing can certainly shape how viewers interpret relationships. This became especially important when fans began rewatching episodes and sharing clips online. Entire discussions developed around brief facial expressions, seating arrangements during family dinners, or who spoke to whom during farm events. Social media, YouTube, Facebook groups, and Reddit filled with theories attempting to explain every interaction between Amy and Caryn. Some believed the tension was gradually easing, while others argued that the relationship remained permanently strained. Ultimately, these years represented one of the most emotionally complex periods in the Roloff family's story. Holidays, farm responsibilities, business decisions, and new relationships all overlapped, creating situations where emotions were rarely simple. Even without dramatic confrontations, viewers continued following every interaction closely, convinced that the smallest moments often revealed the biggest changes taking place behind the scenes. As the years passed, the Roloff family entered a new chapter. Amy Roloff married Marek in 2021, marking a fresh beginning after years of personal change. Her wedding was a joyful occasion that symbolized moving forward, and many fans were pleased to see her embracing a happier phase of life. Around the same time, Matt Roloff and Caryn Chandler continued building their own relationship, appearing together at family events and sharing glimpses of their life through social media and television appearances. Although Amy and Caryn were no longer forced to work together every day on Roloff Farms, they still found themselves crossing paths during important family occasions. Birthdays, holiday celebrations, and gatherings centered around the grandchildren naturally brought everyone together. These moments gave viewers opportunities to observe how the family dynamic had evolved over time. Many fans noticed that the obvious tension seen in earlier seasons appeared less intense than before. Rather than avoiding one another completely, Amy and Caryn seemed capable of sharing the same space without the uncomfortable exchanges that once dominated fan discussions. Conversations, when they occurred, generally appeared polite and respectful instead of openly hostile. A major reason for this shift may simply be time. Emotional wounds often soften as years pass, especially when family members focus on creating positive experiences for younger generations. The arrival of grandchildren has changed priorities for everyone involved. Instead of revisiting old conflicts, much of the family's attention has naturally shifted toward celebrating birthdays, holidays, and milestones together. That does not necessarily mean Amy and Caryn have become friends. Many viewers point out that there is an important difference between being friendly and being close. Being able to attend the same family gathering without conflict reflects maturity and respect, but it does not automatically erase years of complicated history or create a close personal relationship. Marek has also been viewed by many fans as a calming influence. Throughout his appearances on Little People, Big World, he has generally encouraged peaceful interactions and avoided becoming involved in long-standing family disagreements. Likewise, Matt has often expressed a desire for family gatherings to remain focused on children and grandchildren rather than past conflicts. Still, fan opinions remain sharply divided. Some viewers believe Amy has shown remarkable grace by remaining civil despite everything that happened. They admire her ability to participate in family events without allowing old emotions to overshadow important moments. Others believe Caryn has also handled difficult situations with composure, arguing that continuing to attend family gatherings demonstrates a willingness to move forward rather than dwell on the past. There are also fans who remain skeptical whenever Amy and Caryn appear together. Every shared smile, brief conversation, or distant interaction is carefully analyzed online. Supporters of one side often interpret these moments very differently from supporters of the other, showing how invested viewers remain in the relationship years later. Reality television also plays a role in these perceptions. Episodes are edited to tell engaging stories, meaning brief interactions can sometimes appear more dramatic than they were in real life. A few seconds of awkward silence or a quick exchange may be emphasized because it fits the season's narrative, while longer, perfectly normal interactions may never make it to air. Ultimately, the relationship between Amy Roloff and Caryn Chandler appears to have settled into something more peaceful than it once was. Open conflict has become far less common, and both women seem capable of showing mutual respect during family occasions. However, respect should not be confused with reconciliation. Whether complete reconciliation will ever happen remains uncertain. Neither Amy nor Caryn has suggested that they have become close friends, and given the complicated history surrounding Roloff Farms, many fans believe some emotional distance will always remain. What seems most important today is that both women appear committed to keeping family celebrations centered on the people they love, especially the grandchildren, even if the past can never be fully forgotten. As we wrap up, it's remarkable to look back at how the relationship between Amy Roloff and Caryn Chandler evolved over the years. What began as a professional working relationship at Roloff Farms gradually became one of the most closely watched and debated dynamics in Little People, Big World. Viewers witnessed subtle moments of tension, difficult conversations, emotional transitions, and major family milestones that forever changed the direction of the Roloff family. From the end of Matt and Amy's marriage to new relationships, farm negotiations, and changing family traditions, Amy and Caryn's interactions became a central storyline that kept fans talking season after season. At the same time, it's worth remembering that reality television only tells part of the story. Episodes are carefully edited to fit a narrative, and countless private conversations, personal emotions, and off-camera moments never make it to the screen. While fans naturally analyze every interaction, no one outside the family truly knows everything that has happened behind the scenes. As a result, many opinions are based on what viewers have seen rather than the complete picture. Today, both women appear focused on moving forward with their own lives. Amy has embraced a new chapter with her husband, Marek, while Caryn continues her longtime relationship with Matt Roloff. The Roloff family itself has continued to evolve as children have grown up. Grandchildren have brought new reasons to celebrate together, and family priorities have shifted over time. Although there have been signs of more civil interactions, only those involved truly know whether deeper healing has taken place. Whether you believe Amy and Caryn have slowly rebuilt a respectful relationship or feel that some emotional wounds can never fully disappear, there's no denying that their story has become one of the defining narratives in Little People, Big World. Their journey reflects how complicated family relationships can become when personal lives, business decisions, and reality television all intersect. Now we'd love to hear from you. Do you think Amy Roloff and Caryn Chandler's relationship has genuinely improved over the years? Or do you believe some hurts are simply too difficult to completely heal? Share your respectful thoughts and opinions in the comments below, and let's keep the conversation friendly and thoughtful. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss future Little People, Big World updates and deep dives. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.